Joel, I think every drag racing fan in the Golden State is here at Pomona today. Because nobody wants to miss the championship final race for the Top Fuel category between the two best drivers of the year, Gary Ormsby and Joe Amato. And the two best cars of the year, nobody would deny that. And maybe the two best crew chiefs in the sport. For Joe Amato, there's Tim Richards. Amato calls him the general because he's always in charge. And that's the man that wrenched Amato to the title just 2 years ago in 1988. For Gary Ormsby, well, there's quiet, studied, and very dapper Lee Beard, a true student of the sport. He wrenched Ormsby to that same title just 1 year ago right here in Pomona. Now consider this. You talk about even over 18 races in 9 months. Both drivers have won 43 rounds of competition. It's a tie. But Amato came into this event with a 254-point lead because he's been to the final a few more times than Ormsby. Except in qualifying, it was Gary Ormsby setting low elapsed time at 5.01. 50 bonus points. He out-qualified Amato by 2 positions, 4 bonus points. So now it's 200. That means that Ormsby only has to go 1 more round than Amato to take the crown. Now, they both survived first round competition earlier today, but in round number 2, they each meet a giant in the sport, either of which could upset this very delicate apple cart. For more on that, here is 3-time Top Fuel champ, Big Daddy Don Garlits.
Well, Steve, Eddie Hill just ran a stellar 5:08, the best for him in many races, and the driver of this car, Don Perdome, he won his round with a 5:11, his very best since he entered Top Fuel this year. Now, we take a look at the ladder, we see the problem is Joe Amato faces Eddie Hill, and Gary Ormsby faces Don Perdome. They must get by these two competitors if they are to continue this championship duel. Now, if they do, they could conceivably face each other in the final round to decide the overall winner.
Steve Evans talked with Eddie.
Eddie, you could ruin not only Joe Amato's day, but his whole year.
Yeah, we've already thought about that. I'd really like to see him win the championship, you know, but and he's a friend of mine, but we want to win this race, so we kind of got a little conflict there. What we're going to try to do is put him out.
I like his attitude, buddies, but not when they're next to each other.
And Don Garlits, they face a very tricky racetrack. It's almost 90 degrees today. The sun's beating down on it. That's not a good combination.
No, it's not. A crew chief could certainly make a miscalculation on the clutch, and everything would go up in smoke.
I guarantee you one thing. Gary Ormsby and Lee Beard's favorite color right now is yellow. They are rooting for Eddie Hill with everything they have. And Hill loses traction. Amato's elapsed time, 5.02, 100th away from what he needed to rob Ormsby of those 50 points.
A quick one, but not quick enough. Let's go to Steve Evans as he talks to Joe Amato.
Well, Joe, you completed half of the mission. The 5:02 takes the win, but doesn't take that 50 points away from Gary Ormsby.
It's tough in the heat to try and run, you know, to get the 5:01 with something. We're a heartbeat away. Our whole weekend's been a thousandth of a way all weekend. I just hope it doesn't come back to haunt me.
All right, Gary Ormsby now faces that tricky racetrack.
I like to be a thorn in his side on this next round, to tell you the truth. And you know, we've been kind of going back and forth all year, and I just like to step up and do one.
It's been a tough year, Don Garlits, for Snake Prudhomme, but he has really put together some consistent times leading up to this matchup.
That 5:11 ET in the first round is the best that he has had this year.
Ormsby away first. Perdome cannot gun him down. Ormsby 5.12 seconds, but a big speed of 283 miles per hour. Now, Joe Amato did not get the help he wanted from Don Perdome. But the good news for Joe is Ormsby's 5.12 is a 1/10 of a second slower than Joe's performance in the same lane in the same round. Well, Gary, you darn near saw your championship hopes go right out the window. That was quite a drag race.
Yeah, because you know, Steve, I can't see him unless they're in front of me. He never was in front of me, but I guess it was pretty close. Yeah.
You're 5.12. This car is not performing the way you and Lee Beard want it to.
No, it really hasn't. We've been stumbling since the last couple of runs yesterday, and it hasn't run well at all today, or the first round or this round either.
You need to protect that 5.01 yourself, those 50 points.
For sure. That's a lot. 50 points is a ton right now.
And let's remind you, those 50 points could spell the difference in the overall season-long championship, getting ready for the semifinals in the Top Fuel.
And from where he sits in that car, he can see Gary Ormsby and Kenny Bernstein getting ready to stage. He is so nervous. He's like a cat inside that cockpit, Don Garlits.
Yes, he is. He is saying, Bernstein, if you ever did anything right in your life, it's time.
Oh, absolutely, because if Gary Ormsby should fall to the red car of Kenny Bernstein, this championship chase is over. The title, the money, the glory belongs to Joe Amato. All things have been equal pretty much during the day for both Amato and Gary Ormsby. Ormsby here does not have lane choice. Is that a big deal, Don?
It could be. It means to him that there's a car sitting in the other lane that could possibly outperform him. It did in the previous round.
Here we go. Ormsby lowers his shield. Bernstein is set. The most interested spectator among the 40,000 here will be Joe Amato. Lee Beard loves what he sees. Tim Richards, he hates it. Gary Ormsby goes to the final round at 5.02. Let's go to Don Garlits on the starting line.
That's a little better.
Well, we're tuning it up to race the big guy in the final. If we get a shot at him, we're going to throw everything we can. There's a lot of money at stake. Our fans have been supporting us all year long. I cannot stress to you how important it is for me to win the World Championship.
The crew chief, Lee Beard.
Not only does Gary Ormsby, without lane choice, beat Kenny Bernstein to gain a final round berth, you picked up your performance to run with Amato. 5.02, the same numbers he's been running all day.
Yeah, Steve, we made a big move there, and it worked for us, looks like.
Might I guess it was in the clutch?
Yes, you're right. You're absolutely right.
He was out on you a little bit. Bernstein may be the best leader in this sport.
Yeah, he did get out. I mean, I didn't want to take any chances. I'm not making excuses, and I just wasn't really on up there. I did not want to lose by red light or, some other way by just actually winning.
Would you like to know what happens on the finish, on the starting line right now?
Oh, yeah.
We better go and watch, huh?
So now Gary Ormsby is turning his attention to the top of the racetrack, the starting line. For the next matchup in the semifinals, Gene Snow and Joe Amato. Will Amato hold up his end of the deal?
Well, Joe Amato wants to do two things. He wants to win this round so that he can get to Ormsby in the final, but he would also like to set low ET so that he will own the 50 points instead of them belonging to Ormsby at the present time. Now, Gene Snow has not been in the same performance league as Amato and Ormsby all day long, but that doesn't mean anything with that particular team. They are capable of going from 550s to 490s in one run. We've seen them do it often over the years. Amato in the far lane, Snow in the near lane. Amato has got to win to keep pace. It all depends on the track and the tires for Gene Snow. If the tires will hold, he could do it. Absolutely, he could be a contender. Oh, Snow was right there, but it's Amato into the final round. Gary Ormsby, the Iceman, does not even react. A 5.03 for Amato, 280 miles per hour. Down on the starting line is Don Garlits to talk to the winning crew chief, Tim Richards. Well, it fell off just a tad.
Yeah, we weren't really leaning on it too hard. I didn't want to lose lane choice there, but I didn't expect Ormsby to go to that 5.02 either, but we'll see in the final. This track will be a lot better, I think, then.
And the pressure continues to build.
Kenny Bernstein more or less apologizing to Joe Amato for not taking care of Gary Ormsby. The whole season comes down to one race.
That's called pressure, buddy. I mean,
you wanted a 4-second run, you got a 5.03.
That means I lost lane choice, too.
That's right.
Pretty important right here. I mean, but thank God the sun's going down in Parker Avenue, and by the time we get to run, it'll be 2 lanes will be good, I hope. And boy, the whole season, 19 races, come down to world champion, over $250,000 on the line. I don't know. That's a lot of pressure.
We can't wait.
I know. The fans are getting it. The TV people are getting it. I don't know if I like it so much, but that's what racing's all about.
Absolutely. Parker Avenue, the name of this drag strip after the former police chief of the city of Pomona.
We now have our final pairing in the Top Fuel division. Joe Amato and Gary Ormsby. So after an entire season of racing, it comes down to this. So much at stake. And now, this is a strange move. Lee Beard has called for a lane change.
Yeah, Joel, I can't believe this is happening. Lee Beard, just because a little smoke came off of Larson's car, is giving up the far lane. It's been the best lane all day long. This is just what Amato wants.
This has got to be considered a shocking development as we get ready for the Top Fuel final. So after 19 races, 9 long months, it all boils down to one race, and we'll be right back with that. Right now in the 1990 race season, but one big showdown remains.
This is simply unbelievable. Both Gary Ormsby and Joe Amato have been down the track 46 times this year, but now this is the only one that matters, the final at the Winston Finals.
Steve, when you consider all the bonuses that are involved and the season-long championship prize money, there is better than $250,000 at stake on this one race.
And we just saw the look of concern on both of the crew cheap spaces. Everybody who bought a ticket to this event is still here. And, of course, Gary Ormsby's girlfriend, Susie Hoops, she's holding her breath.
Well, they say, Steve, you're only good as your last round. If we look at that, we got to say that Ormsby's got an advantage. 5:02 to 5:03 for Amato.
And Steve and Don, let's not forget the far lane today has seen a great deal of success. But Lee Beard, the crew chief for Gary Ormsby, who had a lane choice, decided to go with the near lane. That could be the determining factor.
Yeah, it may not be the last race that you run that was so important, but that last decision that you made.
And you want a bizarre twist? Gary Ormsby could win this race and still lose the championship. Susie Hoops knows this. If Joe Amato sets low ET quicker than 5:01, no matter whether he gets to the finish line first or not, he will win the money in the title. Incredible. Pre-stage. Ormsby has red lighted. He has left too soon. The championship is Joe Amato's.
Development. Joe Amato takes it all as Gary Ormsby red lighted at the outset, trying to get that reaction time, that jump.
And what a parting shot by Joe Amato. The quickest time of the entire event, 4.93 seconds.
Gary Ormsby, who failed to defend his championship. Down to the new champ, now Joe Amato.
In the most drama-packed Top Fuel final in the history of drag racing, Joe Amato has won his third Winston Crown.
Speechless. I guess now we can say Joe knows drag racing, buddy.
With that 493, Ormsby could have gotten the win light. You'd still be the champion.
Well, what can I say, Steve? You know, that was a lot of pressure and tension for the whole week, but we were trying to win the race, the whole enchilada. You know, but Gary, the car's been there. You know, they stepped up the last round. My team did an outstanding job this weekend. Boy, they came through under pressure. Every one of them, Tim Richards, Jim Walds, my wife, Jerry, Wayne Cannon, Dick Moore, Jeff Rogers. I mean, all of them. Oh, God.
And as important almost being, well, along with Don Garlis and Shirley Muldowney, the only driver to have won 3.
That puts me in a special class to be with Don Garlis, Shirley Muldowney. I can't even say my name. No, Joe Amato, a 3-time world champion. You know, plus to win the championship for Team Valvoline, Keystone, all the guys at the warehouse. You know, they'll be off my case a little bit. If I lost, it would have made a tough winner. But boy, my team, they came through in the clear.
Let's celebrate.